welcome to the Guitar Collection. This is a guitar made by Julian Dammann from the year 2015. Now, it is very easy to say that Julian Dammann's guitars are amongst the most difficult to find instruments on the planet. It's so exciting to get to play this. Of course, Julian Dammann is the son of Matthias Dammann, the inventor of the Doubletop, whose guitars are played by the most famous artist in the world, now impossible guitars to get. And gosh, now he has a son making incredible guitars, and these are also impossible to get, with a waitlist that's way more than 10 years now. By the way, Julian Dammann's guitars are being played by lots of famous guitarists nowadays, most notably the superstar Marko Topci, the Ukrainian guitarist and recent GFA winner, as well as Łukasz Kuropatkiewski, which is amazing Polish guitarist. You have to listen to both of them. Both of them have been recording and playing on Julian Dammann guitars all over the world. And so you can imagine the excitement I have getting to know this one. This is a Cedar Doubletop with actually 4 fan braces underneath the top. Very, very minimal small braces here. You'll notice his rosette distinctly different, even to this day, than his father's. You'll see these little triangles that go around in a circle, and really, it's one of those rosettes that you really benefit from being very close to it, because you can see all sorts of texture in these wood patterns. It's really quite attractive. And this outer and inner ring being this goldish yellow color, which you can also find along the bindings of the guitar, I think is certainly in the style of his father as well, who also has that same exact gold lining, which I think looks so great. Looking at the tie block here, you'll see a very low profile bridge. Again, on the tie block, these wood patterns that are similar to the rosette. And then you'll also notice when you turn the guitar to the side, a slightly raised fingerboard. And of course, a heel that is very scooped away here, just like Matthias Dammann's guitars. The back and sides are made of wingay. Usually they use either Brazilian rosewood or wingay on their guitars, I noticed. So this one is made of wingay with some wear to the polish here where your chest rests against the guitar. And there's also, little scratches and things here on the top of the guitar. It's been played a lot. When you look at the label, you'll notice it says Julian Dammann, 2015, of course, with his signature, a very, very classy label. And of course, as I'm holding this guitar, I have to say it is so lightweight. It is a feather in your hands. I'll put the number of grams on the screen of this guitar. It's just a feather. The neck I find to be very comfortable. Now, I'm contrasting this with the Matthias Dammann guitar that I own, which is 664 millimeters. This one is the standard 650 millimeters. It makes it so comfortable to play. The action is very, very low, and even a little bit of room here to adjust on the saddle. The head is exactly the same as his father's, as far as I can tell. That same Manuel Ramirez shape. And then looking at the tuners, we've got Sloans here. And I meant to mention on the back of the neck, you will notice that it is that V joint, of course, coming from the Hausers and so on. And his father uses that V joint as well. Now, we have to get into the sound because I've got so much to say and I'm sort of stressing about making this video because I feel I'll be a little too scatterbrained. So I'm going to try to stay on point. We'll see how that goes. It's easily one of the deepest, most responsive sounds I've ever heard on the classical guitar, I've ever experienced. Now you might be wondering, do these guitars sound similar to Matthias Dammann's guitars? And I have to say yes, it's so strikingly similar. The depth and clarity that I hear in this guitar just brings me back to those Manuel Barrueco recordings, David Russell recordings, and of course, so many times hearing them in concert, but it just has that depth and clarity that is just so desirable to me. And perhaps if you're a fan of these guitars, you might really enjoy these qualities too. But let me just play a few things on this and let you hear. Well, it's very easy for me to say personally that this ranks amongst the very, very top, most expressive and sensitive modern instruments I've ever played. It's just the degree of control that you have over this guitar is absolutely insane. And you know what? It's worth saying, as I've pointed out in several other videos with similar style guitars, it's worth saying that with that control comes some consequences, right? It's not so forgiving of little imperfections in your nails and your tone. But I think for most people, if you have a relatively controlled sound in your right hand, that you would morph the way you play into actually being a little bit better of a player when you spend some time on one of these guitars, because it's just so sensitive that you hear every little thing. If you are clicking in the nails, if you're touching your nail to the string so much, then you're going to hear that when you record the guitar, or definitely when you're playing, just because of how sensitive it is. But once you get a hold of that, it just lets you sculpt musical phrases into exactly what you want. It's like if I want to do a crescendo, you guys tell me, does this come through the recording? But for me, this is so profound how dramatic I can be with the dynamics. Like, right? I'm starting pianissimo to the most degree I can. It's just so incredibly sensitive. And then on top of everything, this guitar encourages you to relax when you're playing. If you're not really so worried about your tone, right? Controlling your tone. When you play this guitar, you relax a bit because you realize you're producing tones that are so full in sound with so little effort in the right hand. By the way, a sound that's so even. With just so little effort. On most guitars, for me to get this sound, I'm really digging into the string. I'm really moving it a lot. On this guitar, I'm not having to move it so much. And the notes are just exploding right out of the guitar. And I love playing with the color palette on this guitar as well. Again, this adds to that expressive responsiveness that draws me into these guitars, and to this guitar in particular. That's why it's so bizarre to me when you hear this common criticism of double tops that they're not colorful. It's bizarre to me. This is one of the most colorful instruments on the planet. I can guarantee it. Now, what is true, to give some fairness to the point, is that people's hands and people's ears gravitate towards different things. And maybe it's more of a case of some players don't know how to pull out colors out of a traditional guitar, and then other players don't really know how to pull colors out of a lattice or double top guitar of several different styles. So that's just how things go sometimes. But for me, this instrument is capable of the most profound of colors and resonances, and I just have so much fun exploring it. So let's try some more musical examples. Before I do, I wanted to remind you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel. If this is the first video that you're seeing, stick around. I do lots of reviews. I've got lots of fun stuff coming out too in the next couple of months. Definitely check out this guitar at guitarcollection.com. You'll see a full album of beautiful photos, read all the details about it, and you'll also find a place where you can subscribe to the mailing list. That way you get notified about guitars before they become publicly available. Okay, I'm done with my little ad read there. It's not an ad, I swear. And let's try some musical examples here. Well, I hope you've enjoyed getting to know this brilliant guitar by Julian Dammann, and please let me know what you think in the comments below. What stands out to you? For me, it's the power, it's the clarity, it's the colors, it's the responsiveness, so many things. Of course, I didn't even touch on the volume, but this is one of the loudest guitars on the planet. I suppose that's one of the things you don't even need to say when you're mentioning a Dammann guitar. But anyhow, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one. See you soon.